We're going to call Tuesday, December 8th, Transportation Committee to order. We're going to roll call, let it be known that I think Dempsey and who else are we missing? Chris is out with birthday.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with an invocation by Mr. Ken Dawson, followed by the pledge.
Let us pray. Father, as we come today, we give you thanks for all the blessings you bestowed upon us and the opportunity that you've given us, oh God, to perform the people's business in Ascension Parish. We pray for one of our own who lost their brother, Miss Amanda Barak, in the finance department. We ask that you minister unto their family. Father, during this season, we pray that the true reason for the season be realized in the hearts of all those in this parish, in this country. And we give you all the glory and praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. We'll move on to public comment section. Anyone want to speak on the agenda item, please sign in. You have 3 minutes to speak. Turn in your card to Ms. Liz. Chairman's report. I think I'm okay this month. We'll move on to Road Department monthly reports for November 2015. Mr. Pierce.
Good evening, Council. We had a total of 2.35 tons of recyclable materials were collected at the October Road Show held at Walmart in Prairieville. The next road show is scheduled for January the 9th, 2015. They had a total of 3.79 tons of recyclable materials were collected at the DPW drop-off in the month of November for a yearly total of 57.35 tons. Total year-to-date recyclables from the road show and DPW is 65.14. Regarding DPW work orders on ditches and culverts, we had a total of 601 work orders. Last month, 7,780 feet of ditches were cleaned. 2,400 feet of culverts were blown out. We had 286.16 miles of ditches were cut. In regards to lot and litter violations for November, the lot violations process, there were 5 lot violations reported in the month of November. 2 were cut by the owner, and there weren't any violations of 3 of the complaints. Litter violations process, there were 6 litter violation complaints in the month of November. There weren't any violations on 3 of the complaints. 2 of the violations were cleared by the owners, and one violation is pending a citation. For your information, we have 508 miles of roads in the parish that we work, approximately 29 miles on the west bank, 479 miles on the east bank. That concludes my report.
There's Mr. Joseph. Anything from Mr. Thomas? Mr. Terry?
No, thank you.
Got one thing, Mr. Pierce, litter violation. Our policy that we have right now in subdivisions, if we go in and clean them up, or even grass cutting, policy. How are we coming out on that? I guess we're coming out on a bad end with that, far as getting repaid back for the contractor going out and cutting these. Is there something we need to do with the ordinance, or amend it to help us in this matter? I'm here and we're putting a lot of lien on properties, and some of these properties, the owners of this property are nowhere to be found, and all it is just putting a lien on that property, and we have to keep cutting it every year. If is there anything? Do we need to bring this ordinance back to strategic and maybe do some amending to it. O'Neill, you have any
Well-
suggestions on this? Because I know it's costing us a good bit of money, and
I can tell you what,
I know it's helping the people, because you get a subdivision, somebody don't cut their grass, it is a plus for us that be able to go in there and do it, but it is costing us money that and it's
most of
getting
the
a little bit out
time,
of hand.
most of the time, the grass that we cut and these things that we do, they're properties that are in foreclosure, and we're an inferior lien. So when the property's sold at sheriff's sale, our lien goes away. The only alternative we have is to maybe to assess as the sheriff's department, that they did not consider this part of a taxing. That's, if it could be based on a tax bill, there may be some, but I think that would require some meetings to talk about. In the past, they didn't want to do that.
Okay.
But that was the issue in the past, is that we do this, we file the lien, the property's, it's abandoned property more times than not.
Correct.
Property's foreclosed upon.
That's
And,
right.
I mean, if it's a sale, we get paid. That's how, we get about 50, maybe 50 or a little less than that collection. That's fine, but if it's foreclosed upon, we're the inferior creditor and we just go away.
Yeah, we just lost what we,
Unless we want to buy out the first credit.
yeah. Mr. Jones.
Yes, me and Mr. O'Neill had this discussion when I wanted to do this in District 1. I did talk to the sheriff, and Mr. O'Neill is correct that the sheriff didn't think that fee would go on the tax assessment, because he didn't want to be responsible for collecting those fees and basically put their property up for sheriff's sale. But in other parishes, St. James, Livingston, and Tangipahoa, I think, they do the cut the grass and they put it on the tax bill. But what it is it's not that they can be put up for sheriff's sale, but it let the tax owner know that they have a outstanding debt with the parish, and if it does go for any foreclosure, that is put on the tax, and the act of sale would know that they have a debt. The sheriff, the last conversation I had with the sheriff, he didn't have a problem with that, as long as everyone know that he is not responsible for collecting that debt, and he's not going to put up anyone. If they don't pay it on the tax sale, that their house wouldn't go up for sheriff's sale. But the biggest thing was to let people know that they did have service done on that property, and they do owe the parish a debt. And the sheriff, he didn't have a problem with that. And once again, that was a while back. We didn't pass it in strategic planning, and I would definitely like to go back and talk to him about that. But I just like it to be based on the new grass cutting ordinance that I had drafted up, but it didn't go nowhere, and hopefully we can get it to go again in the rural area. So, but I know it's possible we can tweak that ordinance with that.
You want a motion to send this to strategic to maybe just open it up again for them?
Yeah, I make the motion that we go back and review the grass ordinance and subdivision and rural area, back to strategic planning.
Okay.
I'll be happy to second that.
Got a motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Ms. Terry. Any more discussion on it? No objections? So moved. I don't have anything else. So moved if y'all don't. We'll move on to number 6, the road project status report. Ms. Tacey Rabelais.
Okay, the 2013 road maintenance package, we still have quite a bit of asphalt left to do. So until we catch up the asphalt operations, we've suspended their soil cement operations. The Lat Road is really the only roadway left that they have left to do with soil cement, but I have a list of roads that they're planning on catching up over this week and next. They're Peter Bourgeois, Gold Dust, Station, Laurel Ridge, Buxton, Peyton, Sheets, Trish, and East Lanou. So hopefully all these streets will be caught up by the end of next week. I know we've had a lot of complaints on those, so any complaints you get, feel free to forward them to me. Also on Sheets Road, we're going to be relaying the pipe on that road. They initially laid it too low, so before they repave on that street, we have to relay the pipe. But hopefully we'll be wrapping up that contract fairly soon. the 2015 road maintenance package. Right now, they're working on the road in front of the governmental complex. I actually thought that they were going to be starting today, but we're still working out some prices on that, on the extra work. But they'll hopefully start on that tomorrow, and either at the same concurrently or by the beginning of next week, they'll be working on Bayou Terrace. They've been watching the water level of the diversion canal. And since we had those 2 big rains, the water level has just been too high for them to do any kind of base work. So it's kind of been pushed out, but I think it's low enough now to where they should be able to start work soon. After they go there, after they finish Bayou Terrace, they'll be moving to Irwin Villar Jr., and Isaac Villar, that area. The horizontal curve sign upgrades, we do have the signs. I've been talking with Johnny Richardson about them starting that soon. I know their bucket truck and their crews have been tied up with the grass cut, the grass crews and the weed crews. So as soon as he gets some people free, he's going to put some people on that project, as well as the Leadership Ascension sign project. 42, we do have an apparent low bidder to do the west end of the sewer on the west end of 42. Wharton Smith is completing work on the east end of 42, and we're hoping that everything will be complete by May of next year. 73 sewer improvements. Right now, the contractor is performing backing tests on all the sewer manholes, and we are working on right-of-way acquisition for the remaining 5 tail lines on that road. But we're hoping that the pump station, as well as the remaining work, will be completed by the end of this year. St. Landry, Edenborn, we did receive the final plans, and they were accepted by the parish. So as of right now, we're working on the right-of-way acquisition, and we're planning on the construction go out to bid early next year. And the next one, the street name signing for Leadership Ascension, that should start at around the same time as the curve improvement signs. Ashland to St. Landry, right now we're working on the permitting. For that job, we're in the process of getting the alignment to the Corps for them to approve that, and so that we can get all the permits we need to actually start the geotechnical investigation and design for that road. And finally, we have the 2016 road maintenance program. We do have the list of roads. There's one that we need to add, which I guess we can get into in just a few minutes, but we are looking at those right now. We should start the survey fairly soon, but right now we have our inspectors going out and looking at each road to see where we need to go with each one. So we have started that process, and hopefully it won't be too much longer before we have the package out.
As far as the state projects, Stacy had mentioned the clearing and grubbing project on LA 42, which includes all the sewer. The main line sewer of that is getting real close to finishing up, but there is the east end that has to be done, and also the west end, which the parish is letting as a separate contract. That'll take it from Ronald Road to an upgraded treatment plant at Oak Grove Primary. So we have an apparent low bidder there, and as soon as all the processing goes, well, then that work will start. Stacy mentioned LA 73 with the tail lines that we have. As far as the construction, the testing of the sewer lines is about all that's left to be done, other than dressing and final striping. There's some other projects that are on the horizon. The LA 44 and 934 with Black Bayou Road intersection improvement, to where we're going to add 2 full lanes again on the main lines of LA 44, and left turn lanes at all approaches to that intersection. That project has some one more, I think, utility issue that needs to get resolved. Once that's done, they're supposed to start construction.
Awesome.
The LA 22 project is still waiting. It's kind of the same as what we reported last time, and that we're still in sugarcane grinding season. After the first of the year, they'll be able to start that. That's from LA 70 to LA 22. Some upcoming projects includes LA 431 at Gold Place. That'll probably be the latter part of 2016, whenever that's let. The LA 939 and LA 940, that's in Gonzales. That's Maurice Roth and Worthy Road, those two. Those have all, actually been let already, but it'll probably be after the first of the year before you'll see construction there. Other projects that's kind of looming with the state, that's going to be let sometimes next year. At least that's what their records show. Is the LA 70 mill and overlay from LA 22 to the St. James Parish line. The Black Bayou bridge replacement, LA 44 at Black Bayou. And I think I mentioned that last time. They're going to build a detour bridge on the east side, put traffic over there, and close William Ficklin Road and make those guys go the opposite direction. So they will be cut off during the construction from getting direct access to 44. Whenever the construction is complete, they will get access restored again. It'll be a little further away from the bridge, so it'll be a safer, access to LA 44. Another one in Gonzales is Cornerview Road. That should be let the latter part of 2016. It's going to add left turn lanes on Irma Boulevard. So that's the significant part of that project. Also, LA 942 is supposed to be rehabbed. That's River Road in front of Homer's house, that road there. There's also the improvement of LA 30 from Ashland Road towards I-10. I don't know if it'll tie all the way into I-10, but that's like an extra lane as you're going from Ashland. It'll actually start widening before you get to Ashland Road and give you a full lane from Ashland Road all the way to I-10.
Oh, that'd be good. Be a plus.
I think that's it.
Looks like it. Ms. Chair?
Yes. What's the status of the lighting of the interchange at LA at 73 and the interstate, please?
Yeah, that one, there is a burn period to where there's really no activity. You just let the lights do their, perform, and you watch them. I think we're still in that stage. It's usually about a month to where you do that. It's called a burn-in period.
Are we talking about the same place? I'm talking about the lighting of the interchange.
Yeah, I-10 at LA 73.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's like three high mast lights in either direction of I-10. With those high
they
mast,
haven't come on at all.
They don't come on at night either.
Not at
well,
all.
They should. I'll find out exactly where we are. That's typically what goes on. Is once everything's done, that they should be running, for a month before we even accept them. So if they're not running, they're. I know the lights themselves have been up for quite a while, so that should be functioning shortly. I don't know why they're not on yet.
Okay, thank you. And can you tell me what has been decided about the interchange between Highland and 73? I mean, I see here a feasibility and design in 2016, 2017.
I think that's just a study. I don't think it's been decided yet by anyone exactly if there's going to be an interchange there. I think that's still under a study. I think that's, the three-laning of the interstate, that's a project that's going to be coming up in the 17-18 fiscal year.
Right.
And I think whatever is determined with that, and I know we at the parish will have some input on that, but it's going to hopefully include a new interchange. Now, where it's at, I don't think that's been determined just yet.
Excellent. I can't wait to know.
Mr. Dawson, I think you had some.
Just quickly on the lighting on 73,
Yes, sir.
I agree with Mr. Turo that I think that should be coming up and being lit pretty soon. But all of the requirements that Parish has, was to accept the bill, okay,
Right.
to pay for the lighting, all that's been taken care of. So the holdup is not from our section. All that has been done.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And we're ready to move forward.
That's right. That's strictly a state project. We only take control of it after it's 100% functional.
Fantastic. Well, they've been up there for
Right.
quite
Quite a
some
while.
time now. I had a gentleman that actually asked me during the crazy campaign silly season that he said, I need to ask you one question, Ms. Cazzo. What are those? And he thought like there was something really strange happening behind his house. I said, lights.
They're really high, too.
They are way up there.
They are.
And kind of exotic looking, but to him anyway.
Any more questions for Mr. Turo or Ms. Tayson? Well, we'll move on to number 7. There's presentation. Mr. Wilford Barry wants to give a presentation on, I think it's listed as West Side Expressway, but I think it's more of an expansion of Highway 30 from LSU on out.
I'm going to give you an update on
Update
on the West Side Expressway.
Okay.
SJB Group is working with the collaborated effort of Iberville and Ascension parishes to advance the realization of improving and developing the West Side Expressway. It's an improvement of Highway 1, some of it on the same route as Highway 1, some of it adjacent to Highway 1. It's considered a mega project, but it will dramatically improve the traffic flow on the West Bank, starting at I-10, paralleling Highway 1. I don't know if you can see this. If I do this on, ooh, I turned it off. I don't know if you can see this. Please wait, we're waiting. Oh, you can't. Okay, so we won't look at that. That was a good try. Okay, so the West Side Expressway is improving a new highway just west of Highway 1, starting at I-10, going around Plaquemine south, circling back to the existing route of Highway 1, heading southeast on the Highway 1 right-of-way. Where it meets up with the existing right-of-way, there is planned a new bridge in Iberville Parish to go from the West Bank to the East Bank, and it lands on Highway 30 in St. Gabriel near Bayou Paul Road. The rest of the West Side Expressway continues on to Donaldsonville, goes south around Donaldsonville, circles back to Highway 70 at 3127, and then gets on the existing route of Highway 70, goes across the river, and there is some consideration of a new route starting at 3125, which is the East Bank highway that goes along the river, and then it would go a new route and connect to I-10. All right, so that is a project, and we're in the study phase. We are about halfway through the study phase. We have met with several agencies. The parish presidents of both parishes have been involved. We want to finish this study in time to present this to the legislature, well, to the parishes involved, and ultimately to the legislature for their consideration in funding for next year. Of course, funding for next year, as far as the state's concerned, is really very volatile, right? New governor, broke state, and there's just anything and everything might happen. But we want to have this study in ready for any potential funding to advance the studying of that project. Everybody talks as if a new bridge is a must, and the West Side Expressway on the West Bank facilitates that in a traffic sense. The reason I'm here tonight is to talk what will help with that and what will have to happen in concert with that. no project, no bridge across the river works without LA 30 being improved. The state had done a stage 0, which is a feasibility study. DOTD had done in-house, a very high-level state. Now I'm going to go to the PowerPoint. I got to turn this on. We are high-tech, man. All right, so this is the PowerPoint about the widening of LA 30. And next, this is a project that's very much in the planning phase, but I think it's in the interest of 4 parishes to advance this. And to advance this, I want you to consider funding your part of the local share to do the next study that has to happen. The project, again, this is too high level to see. It starts on Highway 30 at Ben-Hur, Wesley Drive, which is right there on the fringe of LSU. There's a 2-lane gap between that point and LSU. That will be improved by Baton Rouge in their green light program. This study will not envision improving that, will not look at that. So the widening of Highway 30, presumably 4 lanes, if possible 6 lanes, depending on how long this takes, would start at Wesley and Ben-Hur, and it would the entire route from there going through Iberville Parish, through Ascension, going through Gonzales, all the way to US 61. If you could see this slide, that's what that slide would show. The next, there was, as I said, a high-level stage 0. That study was done in-house by DOTD, and it had a projection of right over $200 million in capital costs. This was 2 years ago. It included $10 million of that gap next to LSU that will not be put in this project. In addition, there were a couple of items that did not have cost numbers associated with it. So right now, my rule of thumb here, it's going to be somewhere in the $225 million or more whenever this gets done. Okay, there are 4 parishes interested in this, and it's any parish that's interested in a new bridge across the river, which would be West Baton Rouge Parish, even if the bridge is not in Iberville Parish, and we hope it will be. It will land, any bridge anywhere on the river will land on Highway 30. So you have 4 parishes: West Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge, Iberville, and Ascension. Why are we trying to do this? Well, it's an important mega project, and it links all of these parishes together. Highway 30 is an important freight corridor. It's a huge stimulus for economic development. And it's a terminus for any new Mississippi River bridge. No bridge, as I said earlier, no bridge across the river can sustain the traffic unless Highway 30 is widened. All right, what's needed to push this forward? I'm here tonight. There was a stage 0 done years ago. Rather than update that, we would like to propose, and the MPO, your Transportation Planning Organization, of which you're a member, is very interested in accelerating this project, and they think the time is now. So we want to advance that to a stage 1 environmental study. It's we would generate the needed revisions to the original feasibility report. We would do the detailed environmental reviews, the NEPA reviews, which is required if you spend any kind of federal dollars. And then it's also included some detailed traffic engineering analysis with traffic counts. And then it saves about 2 years by moving ahead with a stage 1 rather than stepping back and revising a stage 0. The scope of the study that the MPO will do, basically it's a line and grade study. There's an environmental evaluation with environmental assessment. There's a conceptual design. There's a scope and budget development. Included in the design is a lot of traffic engineering. And the cost of funding of the study is $1,500,000. 80% of it would be funded by the MPO, or $1,200,000. The 4 parishes interested in this would put up a quarter each of the $300,000, and that's $75,000 to Ascension. The urgency, we think a new bridge will come someday, and I think the widening of LA 30 works hand in hand with the momentum that the new bridge and the West Side Expressway is generating. There's other network connectivity and improvement projects that are slated to happen in the vicinity. Some on I-10, a new interchange. I don't remember the roads that y'all are considering for a new interchange. This highway is a viable parallel capacity to I-10, taking traffic in and out of Baton Rouge, headed east. the increasing congestion at I-10 will only get worse and create more demand for this highway. These factors will increase demand significantly, irrespective of improvements on LA 30. It's just going to happen. So given the time needed to accomplish the various formal studies, we think it's in your interest, the parish's interest, and certainly we know, we hear tonight and from everyone else, just how urgent and how much traffic that there is currently on Highway 30. So it's only going to get more congested. So I would like for you to ask your council to approve a resolution funding $75,000 to be provided at the proper time to the MPO for them to conduct the Stage 1 study of the widening of LA 30. I couldn't say it again if I had to.
Great job.
Now, are there any questions?
Mr. Terry.
That's a lot.
Tell
Yeah.
me, what's the status of the budget relevant to this project?
We don't have it next year's budget, so you're looking at next year's budget, and I guess you got enough money to do it if you want to do it. But I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if everybody else puts up the 75,000, that would jumpstart the study. But once the study's done, do we have any commitments that the state's going to fund the project? Because I mean, we could do another study and put it on the shelf, and nothing happens. I mean, we've been pushing very hard for Highway 30. We've met with governors, we've met with the plant managers, we've met with everybody. So if there's any kind of money, a guarantee that, or even any indication that there will be money to actually do the project, then I think it's a good thing. It's a wonderful. DOTD, what did DOTD study show? And they spent millions of dollars. Have you talked to them about maybe joining in on all this? And
The MPO, in essence, is funding this on behalf of their TIP, which is DOTD
yeah,
money.
well, I know.
So it's essentially
Transportation
DOTD.
Infrastructure.
All right, so the MPO has a fixed bucket of money that projects go in and out of priority. The MPO is willing to place a priority on advancing this into the Stage 1 phase of a project's life. All of the other mega projects are behind this. So when it comes time for Baton Rouge to scramble and look for projects to advance, this one will be a prime one to advance if you do the Stage 1 study, simply because it's farther along in the planning process. Joey might be able to talk to that. So Baton Rouge is suffering right now from a lack of planning and projects that are on, what you say, on the shelf. We don't have it. All the projects that we really need have not been studied, and they all have to go through the same study process. So if you accelerate this step of the study process for this project, you're a leg up on other projects on them catching you, or catching this project.
What do you think the chances of funding this project?
Better than others. There's a huge need for this project. We all know it. And the bridge is putting a bright spotlight on the need for widening of Highway 30.
Does
I would
Joey
like
have
for you to
anything he
consider
wants to
asking the
add?
council to fund 75,000. This is not for me. I have a meeting Thursday night with West Baton Rouge Council. They're going to take action on this. And then Everville Parish takes action on it next week. It's on their council agenda. And then East Baton Rouge Parish is going to get the ask in January.
And all would have to participate in it.
I
in
want all
order
of
for
them
it
to
move
participate.
forward.
And I'm getting the green light from West Baton Rouge and Everville.
Joseph?
Yeah. Mr. Barrett, I think you came a couple of years ago for the same thing on the west side, correct? You did?
You have co-funded the study for the new bridge and West Side Expressway with Everville Parish. Ascension put up $125,000 and gave it to Everville Parish to steward. Everville Parish put up $175,000 for the $300,000 planning effort.
Right. And so we have been working with at least these plans on both sides, anticipate.
Sure.
I think we also, Tommy, if I'm not mistaken, we might have put up some money when we did the loop, the study part of the loop.
We did that with the BKI. We did the other expressway.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Yeah.
then we've been putting up money for hoping
Yeah,
that
we've done
somewhere
Ascension
along
part.
the line, that we get a bridge and a bigger, wider road and hope the state come on board. So, I mean, once again, I mean,
This
I'm
is
for it.
80-20 funding.
Yeah, I'm for it because once again, if we have a plan, and we did it with 42, we had a plan. It took a while, but the state and federal government got on board with it. So I make the motion that we give the $75,000 for the study, based on the other parishes participating.
I can ask a question before I second.
Okay.
Joey, can you give us some input from your perspective relative to the MPO and DOTD? What, just help us to understand, and the public to understand a little more about the MPO, DOTD, and how that priority system works.
I'm really new to the MPO concept and all that. I've really worked it really on the state side, with the MPO, so I'm kind of a new member there. Outline as to how it works. I'm learning more with it, but I'm not really in a position to where I can give you a good explanation.
Wilfred, can you enlighten us a little bit?
The MPO is a metropolitan planning organization. All metropolitan communities, over 50,000 people, have to form one in order to get federal planning dollars. Federal planning dollars come down through the state to the MPO. Baton Rouge's MPO encompasses 5 parishes: Livingston Parish, East Baton Rouge Parish, West Baton Rouge, Ascension, and Iberville. These 5 parishes, and they let the mayors come in to the MPO organization. It's really an agreement between the governor's office and the MPO, but they, as a courtesy, allow the mayors to vote. So the federal monies say that all highway improvement projects have to be vetted by at the local level. MPO has been designated to look at the entire community of the East Baton Rouge Parish area and say which projects are good and when. So there is what's called a TIP, which is a Transportation Improvement Plan, that the MPO adopts, and everybody, all the parishes and people at the table get to nominate projects, and they're vetted and prioritized by the planners and the board. The board has a lot of influence on what happens. A lot of it happens because of the concentration of population. East Baton Rouge Parish is the big gorilla in the 5-parish group. You would think naturally it has the most urban congestion, et cetera. It might get most of the money, and that's in fact what happens. However, the MPO is supposed to have and decide a plan and which projects get funded when. There are probably 25 funding streams that are available to MPO to fund various types of projects, but your traditional funding source is the Transportation Highway Trust Fund, which comes down from the federal government through the state. So there's a lot of jockeying of projects that goes on when you miss timelines. If a project is slated for construction and the environmental hadn't been completed, or the right-of-way hadn't been completed, or the utilities haven't been relocated, they slip. And so the plan MPO is always having, it's always a very dynamic deck of cards. Some cards are moving to the bottom where they're being used, right? And so what happens is that if we get this project and get, but with the parish's influence, you're going to have the next mayor, the next parish president, and, Joey's going to have, they're all going to have to push because of the big gorilla in the room, right? So, but yet, as other things, if you keep the pressure on your projects and keep them advancing so that there is no reason for them to slide, then you slip in where other projects have fallen on the side because of issues. Baton Rouge has a lot of projects, and because they have a lot of projects, they also have a lot of projects that have not advanced for this reason or that reason, or this reason or that. But so if you have your projects moving, then you're always at bat with if something happens. Did that make sense?
Yes, I think it certainly helps the general public who are observing these meetings understand a little bit more about
So that's
what
why
you're
I think
talking
moving this project forward, it's ready to advance to the next step. And Baton Rouge area needs these kind of projects to be ready to go. We have had a shortage of federal and state money to make things happen. DOT this year is constructing about $600 million in this state fiscal year. It's about half of what it was 4 years ago. So there is lack of everything happening, and that happens, and that filters down to the MPO level, and so there's just less money. So there's less stuff going on. So this aggressive action, I think, bodes well for this project advancing ahead of others. That's what I'm trying to do.
This looks like the next biggest infrastructure need, I believe, out there, you know, between us and Baton Rouge, that extra bridge. You know, it's been on the books, been talked about.
It's
You know,
more
that's
talked
what-
about
that's-
today than ever.
Ever. You know, it is definitely needed, you know, and
So we're
It's
waiting
on everybody's
that.
tongue.
So I'll second that.
we second and we'll bring it to the full council. If we got
Okay.
if we got any more questions, we can get back with Mr. Wilford. I think
got
Tommy has something before I close.
No,
Are
I
you good?
just wanted to say that he's exactly right in his analysis, and that in the past, you go down the line, but the problem is that the 10 projects, if Baton Rouge loses one, they got 9 more in line, and then, you know, ended up being where Iberville, Ascension, West Baton Rouge, and Livingston, we end up with the crumbs. They get the loaf of bread, and it's kind of hard to keep fighting. In the past, we tried to fight it.
This
but-
helps you, though.
We
It
will,
really does help.
we will have
Well,
to
we've
get our
had
state
some-
legislative guys on board
Yeah.
too to help us too, so. we
But
got-
it's the tough
Yeah.
thing. Like he said, it's a gorilla. It's hard to beat East Baton Rouge Parish because they got so many projects on the books and ready to go. So.
Thank you.
Fellow councilman would like to, Mr. Randy wants to say something there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to be sure and let Tommy, speak a little bit, because given our history with the MPO, I mean, he said it in a nutshell, that we do get the crumbs, historically, all right? Shovel-ready projects you're talking about, if we need Baton Rouge to buy into this project, okay, all right, that's the bottom line.
Yep.
They need to buy into the problems that we have down here below Baton Rouge, because we're part of their structure. And you did right. Our state legislatures and representatives that represent Ascension Parish in our area,
Correct.
we need to get them on board with that. And not say they're not on board already, but
Correct.
get a heightened awareness.
Everybody,
I think when Tommy took office 8 years ago, we were not only in the back seat, we were outside the door. We had to get back in the door, okay? That's the bottom line. And so we've not made strides in some of the big projects.
well, we've got a few.
We did
but,
get a
But we've
but
made some.
anyway,
Thank you.
The deal is that the plants are really going to put some pressure on 30, because if something's not done to improve 30,
If this is a way
I
to
can
help
assure you
30,
that they're not
it's
gonna
worth that.
they're not gonna
push it.
expand here anymore on 30 because of the traffic congestion. We've had several meetings with them. They're on board. Gabriel's on board. DOTD's on board. I mean, everybody's on board. It's just a matter of how you're gonna fund this. This is $250 million. I mean, it's just kind of hard to get up in line and grab a $250 million project. So.
All right. So I got a motion by Mr. Oliver Joseph, second by Mrs. Casso, to send it to the full council for approval. Any more discussion, no objection? So moved. You got that, Ms. Les? Oh. We'll move on to number 8, proposed ordinance amendment to Code of Ordinances. I got Mr. O'Neill gonna kind of fill us in on this, something that was drawn up a while back.
Yeah, this was something that we started back in 2013, and then we went to the legislature and got authority to do it in 2014. And the general concept is that I think Mr. Pierce said we got 508 miles of roads. And every time subdivisions are built, and they're built to our standards, they come into the system, and we become responsible for them. And we have no method to fund the ongoing maintenance of them. We keep adding miles of road and no additional revenue. The parish president really came up with this idea, in that what you would do is when there was if a subdivision was going to be built, you would create, similar to a road district, and that road district would collect, it'd be assessed based on the cost of what it's going to cost to maintain that road for 10 years, and it'd be an assessment. And you'd either have two choices. You'd have that, or you'd have a private road. Now, if a developer chose to be private, he was always going to be private. He couldn't bring it in the system. That's how the ordinance is set up. A subdivision that was built under this road district, it would become, this is just an enabling ordinance. We got a lot of work I'd have to do with it, because before, when we proposed this, it kind of died and nobody was really interested in pushing it forward. But that's the general concept of it, to kind of set up a little savings accounts to maintain public subdivision roads.
So our next step is to move to introduce it, or you need to do some more work?
Well, we need to
before
do some more work before we'd introduce it.
before
We
we
need to
can
develop the context of it before we go to introduce it.
Yeah, I think it's something that's definitely needed, and, you know, we can't keep on like we are, because we can't keep up with our parish roads to start off with, you know, so this would be a plus to help.
Anybody have any questions?
Ms. Terry?
So O'Neill, you would be fleshing this out as far as who pays how much based on the amount of frontage?
Well, the state statute that we had passed determines that the engineering staff determines how much it would cost to maintain this road over a period of time. And it's an engineering calculation. It's not just the number we're pulling out. It's based on, I think, I talked with Joey, and the state has a project now where they do these road swaps, and they have a formula that they use for how long road lasts and how long it costs the maintenance and everything like that. And you would do it that way. It'd be based on the length of, the amount of, the size of, the length of roads that you were taking in.
Correct.
And would you suggest that this be for routine maintenance or for only extraordinary maintenance?
It can be for whatever you want. I mean, if you're going to, they are paying other taxes, so it could be routine, or it could be to build up a fund that you have a guaranteed overlay in a period of time. That would be up to how you wanted to do this.
When it's time to overlay it.
Do normal maintenance, period.
All right. Out of that fund.
You
also.
could do it, yes. You'd set
So
it
you
up.
could do that.
You set it up how you want to do it. We have the statute passed to authorize us to do this. We've started with the general concept, enabling concept, and haven't gone, we'll follow the state statute and set it up that way.
Would this elapse in a certain amount of time?
Yes, in 10 years. It has a 10-year time period.
So then what happens after 10 years?
Well, by then, you should have had the road taken care of, and you'll have the funds in there. If you begin them, then you'll at least last, each one will last 10 years. After that, they're going to have to come to the system, or you're going to have to go back to the legislature and get further. Or the citizens can vote at that time to continue this, and they'll keep their maintenance a certain way.
Okay. My next question is, how would, this is assessed on the tax bill?
Yes,
Okay.
it's an assessment.
Okay.
Mr. Joseph?
Yeah, he could pay it up front, or what he would do is he'd set up the district, and you would, each lot would have an assessment to it every year.
So what happens to a developer who has half his lots unsold?
He's going to pay the assessment. He's got to pay, each lot has an assessment that will be collected every year for 10 years.
Not that that's a big problem in Ascension Parish.
Right, but the lots are assessed, not, it's each individual lot would be assessed.
But let's say there's an economic downturn. I mean, I would be concerned for a developer who might be caught in an economic downturn, and he can't sell lots, and he is trying to figure out how he's going to pay the parish at the end of the year in a property tax situation.
Where you're setting up an assessment, just like a property tax on any other thing, I mean,
But nobody's living there, so nobody's nobody's technically driving on the. I mean, could there be? And I'm just.
I mean, we'd have to look into that, but normally that's not how you set something up like this.
But could there be in that situation, could there be a hardship situation where this could be postponed or some kind of grace period given? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what the answer would be to tough questions.
That hasn't been fleshed out. I mean, but under the state statute, no, you're setting up an assessment that's collected every year by the assessor. Now, you have the way we have this, the way the statute allows is that you have, each little district appoints the parish council as their board of directors.
Okay.
I mean, the issue is, are you going to not fund it, then you don't have the maintenance. And you've taken those roads in the system. So you're going to be paying for it with other tax dollars to maintain them. The purpose is to reduce the backlog in miles that you're maintaining.
Yeah, look, I clearly understand, and I'm not opposed. I'm just trying to answer.
Right, well, that's the,
Where's the beef? You know, what's all
Okay.
what are the minutia here that's going that will create problems for people down the road that we will have to answer to and for?
well, that's part of the next step. I mean, that was the idea. We did this in 2013, and nobody had the will to move it forward, so we said, here's the enabling statute, tell us what you want to go, and we'll do further on. We'll go further work on it and come up with that.
Go further where we could get more answers and
Yes,
in more
yes.
detail of how it's going to lay.
Right, but we're basically following the criteria for setting a road district. And so the road district is a political subdivision that's set up, and you're setting the fee on it at that time. It's not set by you, the fee itself, but the developer would make this choice. Now, if he decides to go private, it's my recommendation, it's gonna be all over the plat, these are private roads, and you even make it part of the property description of the property when they're sold, so that everybody up front knows what's going on.
And once it's private, it's done.
It's private, and I drafted the ordinance where it would take a unanimous vote to bring it in the system if they declared it to be private.
Correct.
That's up to your discretion, not mine. I was asked to do this as
Yeah.
strong as I could, and I did.
Okay. Mr. Joseph?
No question.
No question. Well, let Mr. Aguilar, I see he's got a hand up. Give him 3 minutes there.
Thank you, Councilman Lambert, Councilman Caggio, Councilman Joseph. Y'all know me, I come up here and I speak a lot, and I volunteer to do a lot of things, you know, I guess the main thing that I'm here for, and the main thing that I try to get in any of these ordinances that we try to pass, is that it's equitable to everybody. So, and I'm a contractor, I'm a developer, I'm a business owner, okay? So I can speak a whole bunch of different things, but let me just speak as a homeowner coming into town, buying a new house and a new subdivision a year from now. I don't mind paying to maintain the roads in my own subdivision. And I help set up the thing that he's talking about. Setting that part of it up is an easy deal to set up. That's not the hard part. And again, I don't mind paying to maintain my own roads. But my problem is I'm gonna maintain my own roads, but I'm paying a tax to maintain all your roads, and now you want me to pay an impact fee to be able to come buy a lot in that subdivision. So I got 3 strikes, I'm out. And it's just not fair to a new person coming to this parish to have to pay all those things. Now, if we're gonna study this, I'll be the first person to volunteer to be on a committee to help. I just want it to be fair. And I just don't want new residences, and not necessarily new residents, but I don't want our children, who some of my children live in this parish. I don't. I got 30 employees. Most of my employees live in this parish. If they're gonna go build a new house, I don't want to see them get hit with 3 separate taxes to go buy a lot. It's just not fair. You know, and if everybody says everybody wants this, put it on the ballot and let everybody vote for it. But if you're gonna study it and you're gonna write it, please, I ask you, if you're gonna do some studies and you're gonna have some meetings, I'll be the first person to volunteer to be on a committee to help look at it. And again, I don't mind paying for my own maintenance of my own roads. It's really not that much. It's not that expensive, but I don't wanna pay for everybody else's too, and I don't wanna pay impact fee at the same time. Thank y'all, appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Aguilar. So where y'all want to move, just let O'Neill go to the next step? O'Neill, how much trouble,
think we
how
need
much
to-
work is it going to be
It's
involved?
gonna take some work.
Take some time?
Yeah, at least a month.
Okay.
Okay.
Just let us know when you have some more to bring back to the
Okay.
committee, and we'll put it back on the agenda just to discuss more into it. We'll move on to number 9, approval for the addition of Lewis DeLone Road, Bayou Boulevard, and Elm Alley to the 2016 road maintenance project listing. Ms. Tacey?
Louis DeLawn somehow was completely kind of looked over, and it's in really bad shape. So we're going to add that one to the 2016 package. But Elm Alley and Bayou Boulevard, both concrete roads, we don't have any avenue to pay for those repairs in this package. But instead, I was just talking with President Martinez and Ken a few minutes ago, and I think instead of adding that to 2016 package, we may just look at all the concrete roads in the area and make a separate package just to pay for the roads that need to be patched, a concrete patch.
Okay.
So, those 2 will definitely be part of that package, and we'll look at all the roads in Ascension Parish that are concrete.
So tonight you want to move on just to Lewis DeLone Road?
Right, just that one.
So moved.
I got a motion by Mrs. Terry,
Second.
second by Mr. Oliver. Any more discussion? No objections? So move on it. To put Louis DeLong on the 2016 road project. Number 10, discussion of roads for acceptance into the parish maintenance system. Mr. Ricky DeOrman.
Tonight, we have two subdivisions where we got some roads we need to accept in the parish maintenance system. First one, we'll go one at a time. It's a Parisian Village. Rue Royale measures 670 feet, and Rue Lenard, 460 feet.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mrs. Terry,
So moved.
second by Mr. Joseph. Discussion, no issues with them?
They're in good shape.
Okay.
They had some issues, but the developer got in there and took care of them
Okay.
before we brought it to the meeting.
No objection, so move on them two.
Okay, the second one is Bullion Crossing, Fourth Filing, Walk Around Avenue, 865 feet, Galleon Drive, 595 feet. We
So-
do have a few small issues. We got some cracking that needs to be sealed, and one little small area along the curb that has rolled a little bit between the asphalt and the curb needs to be repaired.
Okay. And that is on the list too?
Yes, if you look at your package, it's in red on the bottom of the sheet.
Okay.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Joseph,
Second.
second by Ms. Terry. Any opposition? So moved. Number 11,
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn by Ms. Terry, second by Mr. Joseph. No objection. Meeting is adjourned.